feeds Pelosi. Off the wall to Harris. Harris has got Pelosi. Harris to Pelosi. Shot. He scores! Chris Pelosi!
And Poitras trying to drive in on that right wing side. Poitras in. Scores! Matt Poitras in overtime.
Billis took it right off his stick. Sends one through. They score! First career goal for the Bruins draft pick, Dom.Hockey Billis. Back to the blue line. Cowan has it, looking for the return feed. Cowan lets it go back to the point. Shot!
Those were without all of their World Junior guys for that against Simon Fraser. BC played him Sunday. Good pass ahead. There's Yelvik. He scores! Didn't need an exhibition.
Will come up with it. Ross Schwab flips it out to center. Now McKinney gives chase with Harrison. Harrison to the backhand. Score! A deft touch.
Watch out. Nelson steals. Walks in. Scores! 6-2. Jackson Nelson has the hat trick.
Crosby line. Dulowitz at that. Now he's going to waltz
Welcome in, folks, for this week's episode of Dom.Hockey, the podcast. As always, I am joined by Dominic Tiano. Dom, how are you doing this evening? It was a great show yesterday with Gail. Hopefully Monday went well for you.
As you know, I was in the hospital today getting some things done. Haven't even taken the band off. Feel really shitty. But, you know, as they say in show business, the show must go on. So here I am.
Well, we are doing this pregame before the game against Buffalo, but we're going to be going through the prospects for some of them the last time of the year. And yeah, I mean, we'll push through, get through quickly for you, and then hopefully you can enjoy your evening and feel a little bit better soon. And for the record, I did ask if Dom wanted to postpone and move the show to tomorrow, but he said, let's go with it. He wants to plow through. So
yeah, and I'm sure with the Bruins game on tonight that most people will catch this episode later and won't be watching live. So that's good. Information will still be there.
Yep, it'll be up on our YouTube. It'll go out as a pod as well through anywhere you can find your podcast and on our YouTube channel. So hopefully we get a few extra likes to help the algorithm. But without further ado, Dom, where do you want to start? I know Casper Nason's season is currently over.
Well, if we can, Chris, I'm going to go a little bit off script here and start with one guy in Providence, one of the newest members the Bruins acquired in a trade from the Edmonton Oilers, part of the Trent Frederick deal, is Max Wanner. And the reason why I want to start there is last week I wrote an article getting to know the new Bruins prospects, and he was one of them. And someone, I guess a loyal reader, asked me in a very polite way, wasn't backhanded or anything like that. I actually sent you the message he sent me. So,
yep,
so
it was
very cordial. That's the word I'm looking for. As to why I didn't mention that Wanner was once suspended for the remainder of the WHL season. And I thought about it. And one thing, when you don't have the information that you need, you're setting yourself up for a libel suit. So you have to be careful what you say. And I mentioned that to him. And he very correctly stated that I could have just mentioned that he was had been suspended and linked to one of the many articles out there that was written about it. And he's absolutely right. I could have done that. And I probably should have done that. So I slapped myself on the wrist for it. But here's what I want to say on the situation, because news never ever came out as to what happened. So, according to the Western Hockey League's Code of Conduct for players, they can be suspended for a lot of different things. Anything from smoking a joint to drinking a beer to failure to comply with an investigation to, of course, anything illegal. And we know that the police, both in Edmonton and I forget the other place, were involved, and they found that there was no criminal activity. For all we know, Wayner could have just been a witness to something and failed to comply with the investigation. That's a suspendable offense under the WHL Code of Conduct. Could have smoked a joint. Could have had
Could have
a
gone to a
beer.
party. Yeah.
Could have knocked over somebody's mailbox. Criminal mischief. That's, again, the police found nothing illegal. I do want to say that the Boston Bruins, after the Mitchell Miller fiasco, probably did their homework and found that there was nothing there.
Nothing overly egregious anyway.
Right. So I just wanted to start there, get that out there, apologize to anybody who felt that I purposely left it out there trying to hide something. That's not the case. You've heard me talk about some of the things players have done on this show. Am I correct, Chris?
Oh yeah.
When I have
gotten
full,
some good stories.
when I have full knowledge, I will put it out there.
Yeah. And you said this was how long ago?
2 years ago?
So he would have been 16.
No, last year.
He's
It was
only
last. Yeah, it was like at the end of the season too. It's not like he was suspended the entire season.
and for a little bit of perspective, he's 18, would have been 16 or 17 at the time, and the fact that the police came out and said nothing illegal happened, like he was not doing anything criminal.
Right.
Okay. Did he screw up? Yes. 16, 17-year-old kids do that.
Mhm.
Like you said, that code of conduct policy, large swath of what it could possibly be. Bruins absolutely should have done their homework on this. I would fully expect them to. But again, the police aren't going to say nothing criminal happened if something criminal actually happened. Like that's just not how they're going to do it. So
two police forces, two separate police forces.
yeah. So we know it's not something overly egregious. We're not talking about, Carter Hart here for what he's involved in.
Right.
We're not talking about Mitchell Miller for what he's involved in. Those guys had criminal activity in what they did.
Mhm.
So, it is very tough to mention or delicately mention something where you don't have all the facts. So that's a very good place to start. But kid's having a hell of a year, so there's reason to be excited there. He's up to what, 74 points now on
No.
the season, or he's projected for that.
Max Planner?
Let me see. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
No, you're thinking of Zellers.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Zellers is the one doing that. I mean, he's still having a hell of a year though. Anyway, I'm jumping around on all of our prospects. Let's go through the list as we normally do. Casper Nason's season is done.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts that you wanted to get over or get out there on Casper Nason based on his season being over?
No, I'm just glad it's over. I hope that he hits the transfer portal in the fall. I reached out to Ohio or to Miami, Ohio today to their media relations person to see if he'd be willing to jump on the show with us next week or the week after. So I hope to hear back from her, and maybe we can get Casper on the show and talk some hockey with him.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see his perspective on the season. Definitely a tough one. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But freshman season, can't put too much thought in it. He still played well overall. And he's a 7th round draft pick. So keep the expectations low and see where he comes at next year.
Yeah.
There is a great quote that came out of UMass, though, about our next guy, Dan Zlochmelis, who we're both super excited for. Granted, they did not surpass the Hockey East tournament. They played BU, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
All right. But they also had a game on Wednesday. So do you want to start with the Wednesday game, the quote we got, or where do you want to start?
Let's start with the quote we got.
Okay.
I hope I don't butcher her name. Do you know how to pronounce it?
I don't. I'm going to go with Kayla Gregoire?
Well, if it's French, it's Gregoire.
Okay.
If it's French. So,
I'll
Kayla,
read on yours.
Kayla, I'm sorry we butchered your name.
So sorry.
So she happened to talk to UMass's head coach, and here's what he had to say about Don Zlochmelis. Don's is actually one of our most accurate shooters. He just does it all. If he was 2 inches taller and 20 pounds heavier, he'd probably be the best player in the league. That's how strongly I feel about him. We've talked about his shot, how good it is, a number of times on this show. The issue I have with it is he doesn't use it enough. Agreed?
Yeah, no, he absolutely needs to use that shot a little bit more. We've seen too many guys in the National Hockey League who have a great shot and just don't use it enough. And hopefully that's something that they're able to get out of him more as his development continues.
Yeah. So, I think he's got an excellent shot. It's just he's got to be a little more selfish and call his own numbers sometimes. But you can't argue with his playmaking. So if that works, it works. I mean, he's got 23 assists in 38 games.
I was gonna say I do wonder if some of that is a self brought on burden of only being a sophomore on the team, playing with some seniors and juniors and deferring to some of those guys. Obviously something he'll have to get over, but I wonder if there's a little bit of that for him. Like you said, he's got 27 assists anyway. Yeah. So, and he's playing with Cole O'Hara, who's just gone off for the Nashville Predators draft pick. But how was the game on Wednesday for them?
Yeah, so they played Vermont. They won 2-1, so Zlochmelis didn't factor in either of the goals. Even plus minus, one shot on net, 11 for 17 on the dot, 20 minutes time on ice, 19:54 to be exact. So they moved on and faced BU on Saturday. They lost 3-2 in overtime.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game, though.
Yeah, it was. That was an awesome game. For a while there, I thought that they were actually going to take it. But Zlochmelis did assist on the game-tying goal that forced the overtime. Finished to -1, 3 shots on net. Bad on the dot, 7 for 21 with 21 minutes time on ice. Here he is in front of the net here battling. Let her go from there, Chris.
The maroon one in front of the net.
Yeah.
Saved, Yegorov again, still free, bouncing, and once again Hudson there, knocked down by Sunyev.
He gets into that open space again.
Oh yeah.
Comes out of there, fed it up the slot, bouncing shot, score! Sunyev ties it.
He gets in the way of the goaltender too, and
Yeah.
this goaltender has been awesome since he came. He came up from the USHL late in the season, and he has been phenomenal for BU. So he screened him nicely to help get that tying goal. Like you said, hits the open ice. I mean, obviously, it remains to be seen whether they qualify for the NCAA tournament itself. But if they do, he's going to be exciting to watch in the tournament.
They'll be there. I think they'll be there.
I think so too. I'm just saying it's not officially done, so we'll have to see where it goes.
If not, he'll be heading back to Latvia real soon and getting ready for the World Championships in May, early May, I believe it is. So
and if you're going to be heading to development camp this summer, he is someone to keep an eye on. I would fully expect him to go back for his junior year, though.
I would think so. So let's move on to probably the biggest upset of the season, as Northeastern defeated Boston College 3-1 on Saturday. Did you watch this game as it was going on? Did you watch it?
I watched most of this one. This one I really was watching a lot more because it started when I was at my parents'. So I ended up coming home and catching the entire third. When Hagen's got that goal under 3 minutes left, I was like, holy shit, they're actually going to tie this up.
Yeah.
But that kid, Whitehead, oh my God. Vegas has a good one in that kid in net. So that kid just stood on his head.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
they got goalie. It happened.
They got goalie. But you have to admit, Northeastern did a fantastic job of taking away the neutral zone, and
defensive game was incredible.
Yeah, for the most part, in position in their own zone nonstop. Very rarely could you find them out of position.
This was a 3-1 final, but this was a 2-1 game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the fact that they even got that empty netter with, 3 seconds left in the game was almost pure luck by itself.
Yeah.
But it was an incredible game. I think it's still on ESPN Plus. If you have it, I would highly recommend going back to watch it. If you want to skip some of it, jump to the middle of the second, start at the third period. I don't care where you start, but it was very clear that Northeastern said our number one priority, shut down their offense.
Yeah. And they did it.
And then once we get a chance, we will capitalize, and they did.
And they did. It was,
and the good thing is for the Bruins prospects, Jelvik is still hurt. Dean Letourneau really didn't do much, and obviously it put an end to Gassot's game streak. But how else did they do? Or his point streak, rather.
I thought Gassot, 7-game point streak, like you said, comes to an end. He had 6 goals, 7 assists in those 7 games. Talk about a guy that was on fire.
And he played well.
He did. And I thought Letourneau played well too, even though he didn't put up any points.
And before it goes in the chat, no, it's still too early to call him a bust.
Yeah. Now, it's funny because you said Lodge Mellis will probably go back for his junior year. I would have thought for sure that Jelvik and Gassot would turn pro at the end of this year. Jelvik, because of the injury-plagued season, I think goes back. But Gassot, I can see him signing his ELC for next year and a PTO to finish out the year in Providence this year once they're done, because they are going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And Letourneau will be someone to continue to watch as development camp comes and they go through that process. He is someone that, again, next year we're going to get his true baseline of an NCAA player.
Yeah.
So definitely worth continuing on. Like I said, though, still too early to call him a bust. And Ian, I do see your question. We will address it a little bit later. We want to get through this first. But as you said, it is the prospect show. We will continue to discuss what the Bruins moves need to be in the offseason, though. Just wanted to acknowledge that. Who's next up on the list that you have here, Dom?
Jake Schmaltz, North Dakota. So they were in a best of 3 with Omaha and swept them. So on Saturday they won 3-2. Schmaltz with a beautiful no-look pass. You have the highlight of this. Let's just show it.
I do have it right here.
Final 20 seconds of power play time for North Dakota. Perron, the sophomore, having just coming back from injury against Omaha last week. He had missed the 7 games previous.
Right there.
Swanson, eventually to Schmaltz. Perron in the back of the net.
That was a no-look backhander.
Perron on the power play, and we are tied at 1 apiece.
For the tying goal, too.
Yeah. Can you play it again?
Absolutely.
I just love watching this.
Final 20 seconds of power play time for North Dakota.
The fact that he just remembers where people
just
are
back from injury against Omaha last
Yeah, I
week.
think he takes a peek right here.
Swanson, eventually to Schmaltz.
Yeah.
Perron in the back of the net. Jaden Perron on the power play, and we are tied.
That was beautiful. And I asked myself, where has that been since his first year of college? Because the guy put up points his first year as a freshman and in the USHL. So, anyway.
24 points his freshman year, and now he's down to 16 his senior year. So,
yeah, so... anyway, Saturday they completed the sweep, winning 3-2. They were down 2-0 entering the third, and they scored 3 unanswered. But Schmaltz wasn't involved in any of the goals. Did go 12 for 22 on the dot. So they go on to face Western Michigan on Friday. And the winner of that moves on to play Saturday in the, let me see, what is their tournament called? The Frozen Face-Off.
So many tournaments.
Yeah. So, as you said, Schmaltz is a senior, so they got to make a decision on him, the Bruins, whether they want to sign him or whether Schmaltz even wants to sign with the Bruins. He must be looking at their roster and prospects ahead of him and saying, I got no shot here.
Yeah, that's someone else who I'd love to pick the brain on, because we talk about prospects looking at the situation, seeing if they have a chance, but he is someone that if he sticks with the organization and he takes to the coaching that they're willing to give him, assuming they offer him even an ATO, he could find success.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think this one's going to be up to him. I think they'll offer him an ATO just to get him into the doors and see. They got a lot of UFAs and RFAs coming up. So,
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't hurt to bring him in on an ATO and say, hey, you're competing for a spot in Providence.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could make a pro career, and note when I say pro career, it's either AHL or NHL. Heck, it could even be European leagues.
Yeah.
But he could make a pro career for himself being a shutdown centerman.
Could you look at him as a potential John Beecher replacement down the road? Maybe not next year, but maybe 2-3 years from now. Or like a Mark Kostelic replacement.
He doesn't skate like either one of them.
No, I'm just thinking like a fourth line guy. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's good on the dot. He has an upside, a little bit of offense. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not saying I would offer him a contract. I'd probably
It
say,
depends
hey,
on what you want your fourth line to do. If you want them to provide energy, he's not that player.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like other players in the system better, so
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get an offer. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
at the same time, I would probably say, here's a Maine Mariners contract. Work your way up through the system. We'll work with you.
Yeah.
And then if someone offers him an AHL contract, so be it. Let him go.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's an easy decision. I'm not offering him a contract. And I don't want him coming into Providence and taking away ice time from the guys that I got down there if I got no intention of signing him.
Yeah, exactly.
So moving on, Beckett Hendrickson, Minnesota. We know they've already been eliminated from the Big Ten playoffs. They will be in the NCAA tournament. Just when and against who, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Another a decent season, another freshman entering college this year. So, we'll have to see how he progresses next year. But
Yeah, so Ty Gallagher.
Senior.
Ty Gallagher. Anybody who knows me knows I've been cheering for Colorado College, but they were in tough against Denver, defending champions. They didn't have much of a chance. And then what happens? Friday night, they win 3-1. So down 1-0. Ty Gallagher on the power play from Ovi's office. Watch this shot, man.
Lama steps into the slot. Lama hands it off to Burkholder. Burkholder looking for a shooting lane. He'll give it a Wisdom. Wisdom over to Gallagher. He shoots and scores. Gallagher with a one-timer. Puts the Tigers on the board. Ties it at 1.
We've shown his one-timer from that spot a few times. It is wicked, man. Absolutely wicked.
And just the way, he's sitting there. They finally get him the puck.
Yeah.
And he just claps it there. Oh, man.
Yeah,
and this is a defenseman.
Yeah. Now, we'll see him in a bit score in a couple of other different ways, which he's capable of. This is a defenseman who led Colorado College in scoring for most of the season. He ended the year second in scoring.
Was it second or third in scoring?
Second. He ended the season in second in scoring.
I know he was close to second. I just haven't seen it since their last game. So
when a defenseman is leading the team in scoring, you know you're lacking offense.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a little bit.
He had 3 shots on goal, was a +1. Game high 24:01 time on ice. So on Saturday they got off to a good start, but partway through the second period, Denver came on, ended up winning 6-3. No points for Gallagher on Saturday. 2 shots on net. Team high 21-22 time on ice. Sunday in the series finale wasn't even close. 9-2 for Denver in Gallagher's 150th career NCAA game. Gallagher scored both goals for Colorado College. Was a +1, 6 shots on goal. We have both the goals for you here.
Yep. And this is the first one here.
Google it, you can YouTube it, and then he curls back and he goes in on the Blackhawks goaltender and he does a little shimmy.
So Gallagher will be the third guy coming in trailing here, right there.
Somewhat similar.
That one is in. It's Gallagher.
It went off of Remyev's, Gleb Remyev, went off his skate back to Gallagher, and he just fired it home.
Yeah, and you mentioned he's the third one in. He's
Yeah.
all the way behind the blue line back here and gets up into this rush and is able to be the third one back, sees that it hits Veremyev, and he's not able to corral it, and he's just there, and he takes advantage of the opportunity. So,
and it was 2-0 at the time. He got them back in the game. He was taking offensive chances, and yet, for all the offensive chances he was taking, he finished the game a +1 in a 9-2 game.
I was going to say, in a game that his team allowed 9 goals, it was not through his efforts.
No.
So, and then we have his second goal.
I believe the next one was shorthanded.
Yes, Denver's on the power play right here.
Initially, now here's Lama with a shorthanded chance. Went to the forehand and it knocked away. Gallagher in front. It's loose. He scores.
Gets his own rebound.
I'll replay that one too because buffering doesn't help.
Here's Lama with a shorthanded chance. Went to the forehand and it knocked away. Gallagher in front. It's loose. He scores.
Yeah, he had 2 shots there. The one was stopped, and the other one he
gets his own rebound.
Gets his own rebound.
And I want to note too, it's 6-1.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about this Boston team right now, how it looks different. They're not giving up. They're playing with pace. They're playing with heart. They're playing through the end. I mean, you're down 5 goals entering the third period, and he's still going for scoring opportunities. He's not giving up at all for this team.
No, and this one again, shorthanded.
Yep. Even on the penalty kill, when you're sitting there going, we just don't want to make it worse. He's sitting here going, I'll make it better.
Yeah. So, as you said, another senior. They've got to make a decision on him in the near future, whether they want to sign him or not. I hope they do.
I hope they do. I think they will.
People describe him as an offensive defenseman. He can create offense. I wouldn't consider him an offensive defenseman. I would consider him an all-around defenseman. He averages well over 20 minutes a night. Some games he's up to over 25 minutes. He's up against the opposition's best players.
PK, penalty,
PK,
power play, all situations. Like, this kid is a workhorse. This kid deserves a contract. He's already battled through some adversity in his career, making the switch from BU to Colorado College, showing that bounce back.
Never pouting.
No. And not complaining about the situation either. In just the why things were happening and whatnot. So character guy, skilled guy, all around great defenseman. Not only do I want to see this kid get a contract, but he deserves it. So I think he'll outwork some defensemen that we have in Providence right now, and really could help them on a playoff run this year as well. So hopefully they can get him in the fold now. And signing him, you could also get Veremyev as a package duo there.
Possibly.
I think it helps.
Possibly. And that's a perfect segue to reminding everybody we have a special episode coming up Wednesday at 4 p.m. We'll have a special guest in, a regional U.S. scout from Keens Magazine.
Josh Klinka? Is that how it's said? Klinka.
I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'll have to ask Josh how he wants it pronounced. So Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we're calling it NCAA Free Agent Frenzy. It's not like July 1st. There's already a few NCAA players that have signed ECHL contracts. I believe one has already signed an NHL contract with the Penguins. I'd have to look it up. but this is the time of year they start flying. So that was a perfect segue.
And I do have information. We'll go over it after. I have some information for who's got how many contract spots for, because that's the other thing is that these guys are going to want NHL ELCs. So
not most of them. Most of them will sign for next year. It's only the very high end players. You might get one or two that want a contract that starts this year so they can burn a year off. And I don't know that there's anybody available at the, that'll be a question for Josh, but I don't think there's anybody on the list that I have that I would allow to burn a year off their entry-level contract this year.
It's a negotiating factor, though.
Yeah.
That if you can offer it and another team can't, it's a benefit. But it's.
But I think most teams go back and look how many signed last year. 2. Most teams are saying no, we're not doing it anymore, and they're all. So when everybody's saying no, the players stop asking.
Yeah. So, but I want Gallagher to make that run with Providence this year too. Get him in the fold and get him going.
Yeah, that's another guy we're going to try and get on the show very quickly.
Working on it. Yep.
So, we'll hopefully have a few lined up for you guys. So let's move on to Chris Pelosi and Elliot Grunwald. Quinnipiac was in the quarterfinals, best of 3 against Brown. They won on Friday, I think it was, 4-1. Grunwald had the secondary assist on the game-winning goal. I didn't even bother capturing it because it was just
right place, right time.
Pass off the boards, and they skated up ice and scored. And then Pelosi had the empty netter to clinch it. So the thing I want to point out in that game, more than anything, Grunwald just turned 19 in February, I believe.
That sounds right. Yeah.
February 4th, turned 19. So he's been playing almost the entire season as an 18-year-old, a true freshman. Time on ice, Friday night, 24-39.
Yeah, they've got some workhorse defensemen coming up through the system. Yeah. I know a lot of people are upset to see a guy like Brandon Carlo get dealt, but they've got guys who are coming in who can take over on that blue line. They're not here yet, which is kind of the bummer about it, but they're on their way. They've got some workhorses coming.
Yeah, a true freshman, 24-39 in a playoff game that did not go to overtime.
Yeah, that's a good point. Didn't go to OT, so.
Yeah. And so Saturday they won 4-0. Nothing for Pelosi. +1, 2 shots on goal, 6 for 11 on the dot, 17 minutes time on ice. Grunwald had a pair of assists. +2, 2 shots on goal, and a team high 22:01 time on ice. So here he is. They tried to clear the puck up the ice. He corrals it at center ice. Let her go, Chris.
The junior as now Ricketts has Marcellus in the slot. He scores!
Just
long
like
pass. That, the Cats crush the Bears. 2 minutes and 1 second into the third. It's 2-0 Quinnipiac.
Just a nice long pass down the board while they're trying to clear it. Intercepts it, as you mentioned.
And then the other one, we have the other one too?
Yes, we do. Right here.
Now, before you play it, so this one here, he tries to clear the puck and it gets blocked and goes back into the corner. and he just manhandles the guy to the ice. Anyway, let her go. You'll see it.
That's up 3-0.
Clears it. It gets blocked.
Mode. 6
He
on
just
5 here in the waning 60 seconds of this game. Fired
Takes
for
him
the
down.
open net, and it's in. Oh my goodness, Victor Chernesky in there. From 200 feet away, ices the game. It's 4-0 Cats.
Yeah, not so much the assist on that one, but the play leading into the assist. That the way he recovers and doesn't,
very quickly.
yeah,
very quickly.
Doesn't give up on the play either.
Yeah. So, again, they swept the series, and they will now face Cornell and the guy we're going to talk about next, and Ryan Walsh in the semifinal. The ECAC semifinal on Friday. So as I said, that brings us to Ryan Walsh. We already know that since they're playing Quinnipiac that they obviously won. So let's start out. Ryan Walsh was a unanimous vote for the first All-Ivy All-Star team this past week. Good for him. Congratulations. Dalton Bancroft, his teammate, who you will hear about on Wednesday on our show, the NCAA Free Agent Frenzy, was named to the second All-Ivy team. So,
A couple names to keep an eye out for going forward here.
So Friday night, quarterfinals, game one, they won 4-1. No points for Walsh, 2 shots on goal, 9:15 on the dot, 21:58 time on ice. He's a minute eater. It's not often you get forwards playing 20 minutes a night.
And solid too. I mean, clearly they weren't giving up a lot if they win 4-1. So
yeah. So then on Saturday they won 3-0. Again, he was pointless, but he finished a +2. Again, led all forwards with 20:55 time on ice. Was down on the dot, 7 for 16. And again, they move on. They'll play Friday against Pelosi and Gromwald. That should be exciting. That'll be on ESPN Plus, I believe, right?
I think so, yeah. And that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so, if you tune into that, you'll have 3 prospects to watch. And I say keep an eye on that Gromwald kid, because for an 18, 19-year-old, he's been impressive what he's been doing.
And Quinnipiac is just fun to watch too. Not that Cornell wouldn't be, but it just Quinnipiac is a fun team to get behind, and you can really find yourself rooting for them in the game, even if you don't mean to. So
yeah. So let's move on to Mason Langenbrunner and Harvard. They lost the ECAC quarterfinals to Clarkson on Friday by a score of 3-2. Langenbrunner was pointless, +1, 2 shots on goal. His ice time was down from what it's been lately to 16:49.
Which is still up from where it was to start the year.
Yeah.
Who knows why it was down so low.
They bounced back Saturday with a 3-2 overtime win, down 2-1. It was Langenbrunner's one-timer that tied it and forced overtime. 2 shots on goal, 17 minutes time on ice. There he is on the far wall there.
Holding it there is Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner carries to the corner, back for a single wing. His shot, save made. Rebound, Langenbrunner, shot, and he scores!
So he pounced on the rebound. And
It's a power play goal for Harvard, and they have rebounded.
He doesn't hesitate to jump on that rebound.
No, but notice the spot he's playing. I believe that was a power play goal, was it not?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so he's playing the same spot as Gallagher on the power play.
Yep. Are they both? They're both right side team, then, right?
Yep.
So It'll be interesting to see how they mesh well in the system if they both end up getting offers. Langenbrunner is a senior as well, right?
No, he's got one more year of eligibility.
1 more year. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I would expect him to return for that 1 more year.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. So on Sunday, went to overtime again. Clarkson came out 2-1 on top, so they take the series. Season over for Langenbrunner. There's no way they're making the NCAA 16. So a year of eligibility left. What happens? A couple of months ago, I pointed out that players that go to Harvard very rarely sign with the teams that drafted them. Very rarely. The vast majority, they end up getting their education and going to play someplace else as a free agent. Langenbrunner obviously plays for Harvard and obviously should go back for his senior year because I don't think he's ready for pro hockey. However, his father, Jamie Langenbrunner, is the assistant general manager for the Boston Bruins. So,
do you really think that would be a reason to turn pro early, though?
No, but that would be a reason to sign with the team that drafted you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would just expect them to go back for 1 more year. I feel like they're not, they being the Langenbrunner family even, they have enough self-wherewithal to know that he's just not a pro defenseman yet. And also, if you wait 1 more year, then one, it allows you to build off of the season that you finished strong with because, he really did have a great, strong finish. And it allows you to get a better picture of what's the Bruins defensive room going to look like going forward, especially that right side. Because right now you got McAvoy, Peak, Wotherspoon, Yoki Haru.
Yeah, but by the time Langenbrunner's ready, all 4 of those guys could be gone.
Well, that's my point. You just don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
So if you come out this year, you've got a lot more to jump over to even have a shot. So, and that doesn't include the guys in Providence either. You wait 1 more year and you go, okay, well, give me a year or 2 in Providence. I could be a third defenseman on the NHL team in that time.
Yeah. I just think he's better served to go back for another year.
I agree. I would expect him to.
Well, those Harvard boys, they want their education.
Yeah. I mean, they're paying for it.
Yeah. Sorry, boys and girls, I should say,
Yeah. Anyway, strubbing right along. Another season that's over is our good friend Jonathan Mirenberg over in Linköping in Sweden.
Yeah, so they didn't make the playoffs. The good thing is they're not playing the relegation, so they'll be staying in the SHL next year. I'm really curious to see how they handle this situation. And I just want to say, and you know why I am saying this, Chris, I just want to say, Adam McQuaid, if you're watching or listening, sign this kid to a contract.
Please. At least get him in the system and look at him here and see, because that injury, he came back from it. He's worked his ass off from it, and he just needed a little bit more runway, and I think he would have been able to find his game again.
Yeah. And even after he came back, he missed a game afterwards because of the injury. So
yeah, he's another one that we want to try to get on the show at some point as well. But we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah, so a year ago I wanted him badly. I want if he comes over for development camp, let's see what he looks like.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Can they bring him over for development camp and then offer him a contract after that? Or would he need to sign? What's his deadline?
His deadline is June 1st. So that would be before development camp.
Okay. So yeah, definitely a name to keep an eye out on in the news cycle. Granted, it wouldn't be the first prospect that you've been high on that they just let the rights go on.
Yeah, but you know what? There's 2 NHL teams that were very high on this kid.
Oh yeah.
And then,
and he was the one they targeted in that trade with Vancouver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember, Michael DiPietro was the throw-in. It wasn't the other way around.
And between the two of them, you got to get something out of that Studnicka deal.
Well, no, because whatever happens going forward, they won that trade. Studnicka hasn't been with Vancouver in 2 years?
Yeah,
anyway, they won that trade.
Yeah, no kidding. But still, you like to see them get a little something out of every little deal they make. So
yeah,
and DiPietro's been fantastic in Providence. So if that's all you got, then you still win the deal.
Yeah.
Another defenseman, though. Talk about promising D.
Yeah, another one I'd like to get on the show, but unfortunately, with them going on what's going to be a long playoff run, they aren't going to make him available to us until after the season. Moncton just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. And 2 weeks ago, we talked about how they took over number 1 spot in the CHL over the London Knights, who were number 1 for 13 weeks straight. I think now they've won. This is their 9th or 10th win in a row this weekend. Anyway, Thursday night they blanked Cape Breton 3-0. No points for Johansson, 3 shots on goal, 3 hits. Yeah, on any given night, he's probably leading them in hits, which is kind of surprising in a way for a Swedish defenseman, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah, they don't tend to be as high in the hit category, but I mean, he's definitely not afraid of the physicality. He's not afraid he doesn't shy away from anything. And yeah, I mean, that play, we'll see a lot more from him in that playoff run.
Yeah.
Because that's really when you see them put their bodies on the line, and whatnot is in playoff run. So if you haven't had a chance to watch him, I know Craig Eagles has come on quite a bit, and we've talked to him at length about Loke Johansson, and just someone to be considered, someone to be excited about watching going forward as well.
Yeah.
The Bruins have a lot of exciting prospects to be keeping an eye on, despite where people claim they rank in the prospect pool rankings and all that stuff. So, hopefully some of these names stick with people and they continue to monitor their names as they come up through the system. Because I don't see Johansson going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, none of them are elite blue chip prospects, but they're worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, but again, and Johansson is a great example of it. He was drafted, what was it, the 4th round?
Or was he was 6th round.
He was 6th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6th round. Gallagher was 7th round. Like, these are guys that are project players that they're getting very young, and they're just going through their natural developmental stage and then hitting where they should. All you people who think Sweeney can't draft.
Well, Sweeney can't draft.
So
it's a scouting department that drafts.
Fair enough. But this is his scouting department now.
Right.
So let's keep that in mind. It's his
Anyway,
department.
we're going to move on because it's 7:30, Chris.
Yes, let's keep going.
Okay, so Saturday they won 8-0. Again, no points, +1, 2 shots on goal, 2 hits on the night for Johansson. Saturday they won again. We keep saying this, 6-2 over Acadie Bathurst. No points, +2, 2 hits on the night. I want to get to Will Zellers, but before we get to him, we'll take care of the 3 boys in Dubuque. So they won on Friday by a score of 5-3, down 3-1. All 3 prospects played a role in the comeback, as Morello assisted on the tying goal, Spicer the go-ahead goal, and Christian Konstadinski scored or assisted on the insurance goal.
He had a good weekend, other than the ejection that we're going to get to.
He was Kostadinski was a +3, Morello a +2, and Spicer was an even ±, and all of them had 2 shots on net. We don't have any of those highlights, do we?
No, we don't. And now that I think about it, I wish we'd gotten the one that the Konstadinski hit.
Well, that was on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So Saturday night, beat Waterloo 2-1. Morello been on a roll. You've heard ever since we sat on this show and I called him out. He's been on a roll. 7-game point streak, 2 goals, 8 assists. Had the game-winning goal. Do we have this one?
We don't have anything from Dubuque at all.
Really?
Oh, wait. Morello, we do. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second here. We do have Morello.
Sorry, folks. Chris isn't paying attention. He's
numbered him out of order.
He's waiting to get on Zellers.
You had Zellers as the next one up. So I do have the Morello one loaded up right here.
Into the offensive end. Cornforth held up and tries to move down low. He has Frank out in front. One-timer, they score. Morello, the Saints answer right away. It's John Morello in front. They capitalize on the turnover, and the Saints take the lead right back. It's Morello's 8th of the season.
I love how he gets underneath it and gets it over the pad. How many times do we see the Bruins guys get that right into the goalie?
I'm just still amazed how somebody gets that open.
In front of the net, no less.
Here's the thing. I've knocked him. We've shown some great highlights of him. Morello is capable of more than what he is doing. I absolutely love how his defensive game has come around at this level, because I wasn't sure he'd be able to handle it. He's been handling it. I have been, for most of the year, disappointed at how his offense has come around. But the last 7 games, since I called him out right here, he's picked it up. So kudos to him.
Again, not bad for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah. So Konstadinski, just over halfway through the first period, head contact, 5-minute major, game misconduct. I believe there's a suspension coming. This is just a guy that's too big.
Yeah. I remember seeing that hit going, that's just unfortunate sizing.
Yeah.
But he's got to be able to play with a big body. So he's got to learn. And, I don't think there was anything overly malicious to the hit. But it was head contact. It is what it is. So.
Yeah. So Will Zellers. Green Bay lost 5-4 in a shootout to Chicago, of all teams, on Saturday. Zellers scores his 39th of the season. All I can say is don't let this guy have open ice. Play the clip, Chris.
I was going to say, you've got him circled down here just below the dot.
Sheloff whisks it to his right. It's Zellers who tiptoes now top of the right circle. He'll Shoot and score a rip. Sellers ties it.
I gotta say, I love the announcer's reaction.
Yeah.
Where he's just, and of course he scores.
It sounds like he's holding back a laugh because I don't know how you have one of the top scorers in the USHL. Just granted, they're down a man, yeah, but play again. Show them the ice.
Are they? I'm not seeing them down a man. I'm not
Aren't
seeing the
they?
power play.
Sorry, I thought it was a power
man,
play goal.
but they're not.
Ross Sheloff.
Although, are they down?
No, they're not. You're right.
No,
but
I guess they're not. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3. But
Whisks it to his right. It's
I mean, he's still allowed to carry that all the way
now top of the right circle.
around, and then basically point blank, right at the top of the dots, right in the slot there, just a free shot.
Shoot and score a rip.
And he is laughing at it.
Yeah, he's trying to hold it back, but
that's you can't just let him shoot that.
Yeah.
So
okay, we've got some low lights.
Yeah.
And before we go into it, I just want to say, Chris, last night you talked about how the Bruins need to find another goaltender, draft one, whatever, by whatever means that they need to. So Providence College were eliminated from the Hockey East playoffs following a 3-1 loss to Connecticut Friday. Svedback stopped 26 of 28 shots. They'll still make the NCAA tournament. But before you play these, Chris, I just want to say Providence College is a very defensively sound hockey team, have been for a long time. They very rarely do not outshoot their opponents. They're stingy defensively, and sometimes that can make a goaltender look good. I'm not saying that Svedback's been bad. I'm not saying he's been good. People look at the numbers and say he's good. I'm going to say he's average. And before we play these two clips of the 2 goals he allowed, I want to say everything you're about to see is fixable. It's all fixable through coaching. But I guess what I'm trying to say is hold back the horses in saying that he's great, because I see people calling him great. Anyway, let it go, Chris. I'll let you break it down.
Yeah, this is the first one from Friday. This is the game tying goal. I'm going to let it play out first here.
Down, he centers, Shandor back, and he scores!
Just a squared up shot right from the top there. This is one that you would look at and say a goaltender has to have that.
Yeah. I mean, it was beat cleanly.
I can't remember if they show a different angle of it.
Providence Friars are one
Yeah, I
of the
think they
best
do.
face-off teams in the country. UConn gets a big
right here.
face-off win and a big face-off goal.
Yeah, you got it's one-on-one with the goaltender, but the goaltender has clean sight. Svedback can see it. He's
not even square.
No, he's not. He's still moving over. So
look at this, Shandor.
And he had the time to get set. I know it looks like it's just a millisecond here, but if I can get this to go down in speed, you can see the pass is made, and he's barely moving. He's not even halfway there, and the player's about to receive the pass. He's behind from the get-go on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the pass is received, it's a one-time shot. So credit for the shot there, but he's
still not square.
He's not square to the shot. He's square to center ice.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's pretty square to center ice. He's square to his own guy trailing the play is who he's squared to. So, like you said, it's fixable, but then he just gets beat. I can't tell if it goes 5-hole. It looks like it goes under the arm, the
It
glove
goes under
arm
the
there.
arm.
So the other angle was a little bit better for that. It just, and actually, I think this angle was a little bit better to see just how clean that shot went through him, because it's not even like you can say he was screened by his own defenseman. He was a little bit, but at the NHL level, at the AHL level, you have that guy standing in your way all game, every game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it was this, thing that never happens. And then he just gets beat. By the time he reacts, it's already through him. So,
Okay. So one thing you mentioned there, you'll really see on the game-winning goal he lets in is his movement across the crease. So play the next one.
Richard with a move and a shot across. And a wide open net. They score.
You have to wait for the replay of it.
that reminds
really
me of the
see
one
it.
Swayman let in the other day against Ottawa.
Oh, this one's bad. This one's really bad.
Remember the one against Ottawa that Swayman let in that it looked like he didn't even move on?
So this one's worse. This one, no, it's the. You notice it?
Oh,
You
yeah.
might have. Wait for the next replay. There's another angle.
Oh, I was going to slow this one down.
No, wait for the next one. The next one's better. Play it at full speed.
Okay.
To cycle this puck over to Muldowney. What a great look across the seam by Jake Richard.
Watch this.
A guy like Joe
1,
Muldowney to be
2.
the next player to touch that.
He has to push off twice.
I was just going to say, did he get stuck on the post?
No, he just didn't push off hard enough. He's not tracking the puck and not pushing off.
Whoops, that audio is terrible when you slow it down. But yeah, no, okay. So he just whiffs on that push off. And yeah,
He thought he was going in front. He had to push off twice. He wasn't tracking the puck. Again, fixable, but we got to stop calling him a great prospect. He's average.
He is a prospect.
Yeah.
Looks like Boston just tied it up 1-1 here.
I'm not even watching.
I know. I'm just giving that update to the folks who either don't have it on or are relying on us for some of that information. But I know we want to rush through and get through some of these the Providence guys, especially newcomer here.
Yeah, let's just get to the highlights because we're running out of time here. So Wednesday, Fabian Lysell scores to make it 1-0. Can't even remember. Did they win?
On Wednesday?
No, I think they lost Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't even remember. But you got Lysell highlighted here. I'll play the clip real quick as we go through these. Yes, Kevin, I have the game on. And they are up 2-1 right now. So, yeah, 2-1. Geeky just scored. I have it on, but I'm not paying as much attention to it. I'm trying to play these highlights for you. So this one's Lysell's goal from Wednesday, though.
Cross ice, and now a step here.
This beats 5 guys. Like 5 guys can't catch him.
He needs to do this consistently.
Mm-hmm.
In behind the D, coming across the blue line, picks it up and makes 0 mistakes on the shot.
That was a heck of a pass too, by the way.
I'm trying to remember the next one.
The next one I have is
Pietro lets in a goal. I'm trying to remember the goal.
Gotcha.
It'll come to me. Play it.
This is the 2-1 goal that DiPietro lets in.
Each, and now here comes Shaw. Takes the shot, the rebound, score! Alex Steves puts the Marlies ahead 2-1 with a...
I'm not sure why I wanted to include that, but I did.
Was it the rebound here? Because, I mean, I'll slow it down a little bit. because he gets the initial save right there, but he deflects it right out into the slot.
Yeah, bad rebound.
Just and again, we've seen Swayman have bad rebound control, but he just puts it right in the front of the net. So he got it deflected away better.
Yeah, that was against Toronto. So Toronto had won it 4-2. But Frederic Brunet does tie it at 2-2 with his, I don't know what goal number it was.
But I got that one right here for you.
Back up high. Merkelov spilling there was
You're playing catch. Not a wicked windup. Just get it on net.
Yep, that's something we've talked about. Merkulov, Minton playing together too. Just making sure we notate that. That's a decent power play right there in Providence.
So Friday, they lost that one 4-2. Friday they were up against Rochester, lost 4-3 in a shootout. Jeffrey Vale scores the first 2 goals.
Yep, I got the first one queued up right here, right off.
Pull back on top, quick
the
shot,
base off here.
Short side round behind the net, backhander, they score. It bounced off the backboards out to the back post, and it was slotted inside the post.
Yeah, so that was him going to the right post and just banks it in off of, I think it went off the goaltender and in.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get lucky.
Yep.
But this is him again, cutting through to the middle, cutting through the slot to the goal.
Yep.
Gets an open pass through and just
a wide open net from the rebound.
And that's Devin Levi he's beating, I think.
As the Bruins make it look easy and take down with 2-0
that's still Devin
lead.
Levi.
Yeah, so
I couldn't remember if that was the game that Levi was in or not.
So Brandon Bussey, I've got a highlight of a goal Brandon Bussey let in here.
Back in the left point out top, one-time shot. That's knocked down, but Bussey, he scored.
Again with the rebound issues.
He had that. He just lost it.
Looked like he had it, but it was chipped, and the Hammers come away as Yops will get that one alert on the doorstep.
But if you're going to be in the NHL, you have to cover the puck in that. That's a mistake that you can't afford to make.
Well, the thing is the 2 goals, the one against DiPietro and the one against Bussey, are kind of similar. Bad rebounds. Okay?
Oh, yeah, and that's fixable. It's just...
But who should have had it? The 6'4" goaltender or the 6-foot goaltender? Bussey did try to jump out and put his glove on it, but missed. DiPietro wouldn't have stood a chance at doing that at 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I think this is a good comparison to sit here and say that people who wanted one of these guys to back up Swayman, they're just not there yet.
No, and we don't know if they ever will be. It's like I said last night. For DiPietro to make it in the NHL at his size, he has to be more UC Saros than anything else. And he's not that. I love the guy. I've watched the guy for over 10 years now at different levels of hockey. I love his competitiveness, his willingness to do anything to stop a puck. But he's not a bona fide NHL goaltender at this point.
Right, and right now neither one of them are. That's not to say they can't continue to grow into one, but they're just not there yet. So
yeah. So let's move on to Sunday. Fraser Minton, natural hat trick, and then assists on the Riley Duran goal to make it 4-0. We have all 3 of them.
Yes, we do. This is the first one here.
Number 45, because I don't think I highlighted him. I was running out of time.
It comes. Teamers trying to dig it loose. Brunet at the left point will skate it into the middle now. Brunet on the right wing. Poitras stepping in. Poitras in low. Merkelov to the front. Minton, he scores.
Right in front.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that this is a 5-on-5 goal, and it looks like you have Merkulov, Minton, and Poitras playing together.
Yeah.
So let's see, and he gets a hat trick playing with a former teammate of his in Matthew Poitras. So here's his second goal, though.
But a last-second poke by Brunet got him ahead to center. Now Minton to the T-Bird line, slowly in, leaves for Lysell, giving space in low. Minton right side, trying to backhand it in front. Jarenko had moved all the way down in the corner. Now it's loose to the front of the net, and Minton's got himself an up.
Again, front of the net.
He's not shy about going to the net.
No. And let's see, we've got the third one right here.
Dancing away from Kessie, out near the blue line, now into the slot, he fires, knocked down in front of the net, the rebound is there, and Minton has a natural hat trick.
I think people are going to love this kid.
Well, we got the
how-
Duran goal, right?
I was just say how far he goes is another story, but I think people are going to really like what he can do, and he'll become a fan favorite. Yes, this is the Duran goal. I believe this was the game. No, they didn't end up coming back far enough for this to be the game winner, but a nice insurance goal.
The bench comes Minton. Minton into the slot with it. Back at the blue line, Fraser Minton a shot into traffic. They score. Duran in front of the net. Looked like he got a piece on that one.
That was a nice deflection by Duran as well.
Yeah, so the only thing I'm going to say about this is this. It's like, as soon as fans found out he scored a hat trick, it's like, call him up. Why isn't he in the NHL? Blah, 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 blah. Look, let's call a spade here. This is against American Hockey League defenses. The opportunities he got there, think about the 3 goals. One, you might get one of those against an NHL defense.
Right.
You're not getting all 3 of them.
Right. No, absolutely. And it just, like I said, people are going to see what he does down in Providence. They're going to scream to call him up. They're going to love the kid based on a couple of flashes that he shows. He will be likely a fine player. I'm not trying to knock that away from him. It's just people are going to love him, and he's going to be fine. I just want to forewarn people to, be okay with that. But,
yeah,
I mean, he's grading out for what you would expect, about $400K from our friends over at Bench Rates. So, getting there.
Yeah. He'll get his opportunity. It's just, to me, he projects as a middle 6. Again, what is a middle 6? A middle 6 is a high-end third liner, a low-end second liner. Okay? Bottom 6 is the other way around, a low-end third liner, high-end fourth liner. He's a middle 6.
Yeah.
That's he's not going to be top 6 or top line potential, and I see some people calling for that.
He might be able to elevate his game based on who he plays with. If the chemistry is right, something that we're seeing similar with Geeky and Kevin. I see your comment.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come back to that. Geeky's able to elevate his play when he's with the right guys. That's probably something that we'll see with Fraser Minton.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There's no problem with that. So,
again, I mentioned it already on one of the shows. Somebody said to me, wouldn't you have rather had Easton Cowan in the trade? And I was honest. You can go back and look at my work. I never felt Easton Cowan was deserving of a first-round pick or a selection in the draft, and that's where the Leafs took him. I'm still not sold on him. So, no, I'm happy with Minton. But we've got to keep our expectations in check.
Yep.
One hat trick in Providence does not prove anything.
Does not make him an NHL player.
Yeah.
So, but I like the fact that they're keeping him with Matthew Poitras. They're keeping him with Georgi Merkulov. They're keeping these kids together. I know we talked about it yesterday, but I mean, I don't want to bring any of these kids up to the NHL during this unknown clusterfuck, if that makes sense.
Well,
you know, they're building something in Providence. They're gaining momentum towards a playoff run, and you know, I don't see any of them besmirching the fact that they're in Providence right now versus the NHL. So, you know, I think, like you said yesterday, the one guy that you really need to keep an eye on in that sense is Georgi Merkulov, but we'll have to see where that continues to go. I don't think the Providence roster going into next year is as clear as we think it's going to be. Neither.
Oh, it's not. It's not. It's not even close.
So still a lot to keep an eye on, and you know, I mean, who knows? Maybe they flip Fraser Minton. Who knows? I don't think they get him in the deal if they don't think they want to keep him, though. That would be my thought. They're more likely to flip a first-round pick, in my opinion.
Well,
not their own, but
yeah.
Anyways,
let's call it an early night. It's 10 minutes early, Chris.
I will say this because Kevin did make this comment. He said that geeky guy who doesn't deserve the 7th player award is responsible for Bruins taking a 2-1 lead in a matter of a minute. I have something coming out on this. I've been doing some digging into the numbers, so I will keep you posted on that. But that conversation yesterday did make me want to dig into Morgan Geekie a little further and compare kind of where his trajectory is based on who he's been playing with. So more to come on that, Kevin. And don't worry, Dom. I know what you want me to factor in. So
I wasn't going to say anything. I'm talking prospects.
I know. I'm just letting you know that I'm working
just a reminder, everybody, Wednesday at 4 o'clock, sorry.
4 o'clock.
Wednesday at 4 p.m. Josh Klicka from McKean's Hockey. He's a U.S. regional scout for them. He's also with Pro Hockey Report. Will be joining us for our version. Actually, I think it's the only version because we came up with a name. NCAA Free Agent Frenzy. You know, it could go on. Chris and I have prepared a list of players that we want to talk to him about. It could go on an hour. It could go 2 hours. It could go 3 hours. Josh has graciously, well, actually his boss, because I approached his boss, has graciously donated his time to us. So hopefully you can all join in as the Bruins begin to prepare to be talking to some of these players.
Yes, I look forward to that, and I hope we have some nice in-depth conversation with him on some of these guys. You know, I'm very interested to see how he thinks some of them could potentially fit in with the Bruins, and what they have to offer, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. With that, I want to thank Ice Shaker once more for helping us bring you the show tonight. And with that, all I got is go Bees.